Here's the last 12 hours of world news in 3 minutes and 27 headlines. Harvard University in the United States refused to comply with the Trump administration's demands for policy changes regarding international student screening. Senator Marco Rubio announced the termination of 83% of USAID programs during his first overseas trip. Chinese leader Xi Jinping visited Vietnam and urged closer economic ties with Vietnam. The U.S. vice president stated that Europe should not be perpetually reliant on the U.S. for security. The International Energy Agency and OPEC lowered their oil demand growth forecasts. China instructed its airlines to halt Boeing plane deliveries and the purchase of U.S. aircraft parts. Nissan, a Japanese automaker, is cutting Rogue SUV production in Japan due to new U.S. import tariffs. South Korea increased its financial support for its semiconductor industry to $23.2 billion. XPeng Motors, a Chinese company, is mass-producing its first in-house autonomous driving chip, Turing, in China. Individuals are using generative AI tools like ChatGPT to create miniature versions of themselves as dolls and action figures. Japanese police arrested 4 individuals in their 20s to 50s for selling obscene AI-generated images of women on internet auction sites in Japan. Google updated its Maps application to label part of the South China Sea as the West Philippine Sea. Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida signed 2 bills to rename the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. The Federal Reserve resisted pressure politicians and bankers to quickly adjust bank capital rules in the U.S. to stabilize the Treasury market. Pakistan is considering importing crude oil from the United States for the first time to reduce a trade imbalance. Indonesia plans to increase crude oil and liquefied petroleum gas imports from the United States by $10 billion to reduce its trade surplus. The U.S. proposed moving Iran's uranium stockpile to a third country, primarily to curb Iran's nuclear program. Google's Gemini AI model surpassed Anthropic's Claude AI model in playing the Pokémon video game trilogy. A U.S. study found that overuse of CT scans may cause 1 in 20 cancers in the U.S. A recent regional cross-border operation led to over 400 arrests, including 21 men in Singapore, for involvement in illegal child materials across multiple countries. The International Maritime Bureau reported a surge in piracy incidents in the waters between Singapore and Indonesia. 45 cases recorded in 2025. Indonesia's national police implemented a new regulation requiring foreign journalists to obtain police certification before reporting. A 27-year-old U.S. citizen was deported from Bali, Indonesia, after a violent outburst at a medical clinic. Cody bomber intentionally set fire to the Pennsylvania governor's residence, forcing an evacuation. The Vatican, in Italy, is initiating the process to declare Antoni Gaudí a saint. Contemporary Amperex technology, Sinopec and NEO are partnering to build 30,000 battery-swapping stations across mainland China, Hong Kong and Macau to improve electric vehicle charging infrastructure. Saudi Arabia plans to pay Syria's World Bank debts, potentially unlocking millions in reconstruction grants. That's it for now. Check back in 12 hours for the next update or check out the channel for yesterday's news.